it's Sylvia here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I prepared for you an easy purple eyeshadow look using Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet. I know that this eyeshadow palette is not the newest release. It's been actually a couple of months. And initially when I got it, I wanted to create something immediately. But with this eyeshadow palette, I actually took my time and really played with it a lot, because I will tell you guys that initially I really did not like it as much. It was more like I was going back and forth about loving it, and then I was like, oh, I don't like the formula, like why some eyeshadows are patchy and the other ones are not, like why is it not more consistent in quality. But I think the mistake that I was doing is I was looking at some of these shades as at the regular mattes that usually are easier to blend or build up a darker crease. In this case, I'm talking about the shade Digital, which is the darkest in this eyeshadow palette. This shade swatches beautifully, but whenever I was trying to apply it the way I apply my mattes, it was just not working out for me. It looked super patchy. Actually, it was not really showing up at all. So I actually found the way to apply it. So first I don't pat it on my lid, I smudge it and then I blend it out, and I finally got it to work for me. These are not your super pigmented, very vibrant purples that you would get, for example, in Juvia's Place palettes, right? They are very pigmented. They show up on the eye immediately, and I know they're not for everyone, right? Because if you don't like colors, if you don't wear colorful eyeshadow, you might feel a little bit overwhelmed by the pigmentation and the overall, just like the wow, wow effect of those from Juvia's Place, for example. Urban Decay one is definitely more wearable, I would say. These are more of a iridescent, a little bit more on the, not sheer, but they just have a different finish. So these are the swatches. I did that on my Instagram, so I did a kind of a short review on this eyeshadow palette back a few weeks back, so you guys can check them out right now. And if you guys are ready for the quick tutorial, just keep on watching. So what I always like to do is apply an eyeshadow primer, and then I like to set my brow bone with translucent powder, and that really helps me with blending out the crease and kind of avoid any harsh lines. So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm applying the shade Warning, which is more of a pink shade, and I'm going to apply it above the crease and in my crease. So as you guys can see, it's not a matte eyeshadow, which I'm going to be honest, I rarely use anything but mattes in my crease, but that's what this eyeshadow palette comes with, so we're just kind of working with what we have. So because I do have slightly hooded eyes, I will be dragging the shade a little bit higher, so when I open my eyes, I can still see the color. So this is actually my second attempt at filming this, because I had a different lens before, and it was going absolutely nuts trying to autofocus, and I just was out of focus most of the tutorial. So I was just like, you know what, let me try the other one, because it was just a hot mess. So now I'm just going to grab a clean M573 Morphe brush, and I'm just going to blend out the edges a little bit more and drag it a little bit further. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to really keep the brush on the edge of the color, so it doesn't bring too much color up too high, in the brow bone. So, and then with the same clean brush, I'm dipping it in the shade Mind Slip, which is like a very nice nude peachy shade, and I am applying it on the edge of that pink as well, because it adds like a nice warmth to the look. The next shade I'm going to apply is called Cyberpunk, and I am applying it on the flat side of the brush here. I'm not dipping the brush like this, but more like flat like this. What I'm trying to do is, I'm totally being lazy right now because I have 500 different eye brushes that I could use to apply this eyeshadow, but I wanted to show you, in case if you don't have a lot of eyeshadow brushes, that you can use the same one that I applied the pink eyeshadow. This time I'm just going to pat the eyeshadow on the lid, and I want to make sure that it's going to give me an intense color payoff, and therefore I'm using the flat size. And what I'm doing is I am patting it, and I am not using my finger. I'm not applying this eyeshadow wet. I am just literally working with what they have. Usually, if you find yourself using eyeshadows that are not very much pigmented, or as you apply them with your brush, they don't seem to give you any color payoff, I would definitely try to wet them a little bit. But with this one, I think it looks pretty decent. As you guys can tell, I'm holding the brush kind of close to the bristles because I really want that color to show up on my eye, and I think it's starting to look really good. So I'm doing the same thing with the other eye. So because of the finish of these eyeshadows, this look definitely has a more of like pearlescent, kind of like ethereal, I know that's the word I keep using because I cannot think of anything else, honestly, like a vibe to it. It's not like flat matte purples or anything like that. It's just definitely something different. So what I'm going to do now is I'm grabbing that Morphe M573, and I'm just going with it, and I'm just going back and forth between the purple and that pink. I just want a little bit of lift. I want to lift that color a little bit higher in the brow bone, but not too much. So, and then I'm doing the same thing. And if I'm seeing that I'm losing the pink, I'm dabbing my brush into the Mind Slip actually, and I'm applying Mind Slip a little bit higher there, so I have like a nice gradient of color. And I know it seems like a lot of work, but actually you're only working with 2 different shades, and all you have to do is just make sure that everything is blended out. So after I'm done with the lid here, I'm gonna do the same thing on the bottom. So I'm grabbing my Cosette D200, and I'm dabbing it in the shade Warning, and just applying on the lower lash first, and then I'm going to just slightly blend out downwards using the Morphe 573. Closer to the edge, I'm going to apply Cyberpunk. So I'm just grabbing the same and just slightly applying it closer to the lash line, and then just making sure everything is blended and connected. And if you see, let's say here, that the color is a little bit lower, it doesn't you don't have like a clean line, you can always apply concealer afterwards, or if you didn't do your face yet, you can just use a wipey and clean all that area out just to make sure it's nice and even. So after I'm done with the lower lash, I'm going to apply the last shade, and it's going to be the shade called Euphoric. And guys, it is my favorite eyeshadow from this palette. That's the shade. It is absolutely gorgeous. Yep. So what I'm doing is I'm just using my finger, and I'm dabbing it in the middle, and as I'm dabbing, I'm kind of like dragging the color a little bit, because I really want it to show. I'm doing the same thing with the other eye. I see it got a little dirty. It's okay, I cleaned it up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm dragging that color a little bit higher here too. If you're a little nervous about using your fingers, you can use a smaller brush, just so that kind of peeks through. So after that, I'm just gonna grab my E40 Sigma and just make sure all the edges are blended out. And next we're gonna do the inner corner, and for the inner corner I'm grabbing the shade called Lucid, which goes so well with all these purples in a palette. So it's a beautiful duochrome. So I'm actually gonna drag it a little bit up there and to give me like a nice little, I'm almost tempted to apply a little bit on the middle of my lids, but you know what, we're going all purple today, so I'm not going to do that. And after this, my eyeshadow is done. Right now I'm just going to apply black eyeliner on my waterline as well, and I'm just going to apply the lashes and you guys will see the finished result.